to be honest, it was shocking to me. Andrew Berry must be a lot smarter than me or us, because it doesn't make sense to me to trade a quarterback that you think enough of to make your opening day starter to a division opponent that's hurting in that area. But that's just my personal feelings.
That's not a request that we made. That being said, I want to be clear, that would have no bearing in terms, whether he participated or not, that has no bearing in terms of how we think of it, but I don't know where that came from.
Did you see our meeting, in the room, so to speak?
Andrew Berry just went nuclear on Mike Tomlin, and the league's buzzing like someone dropped a bomb in the AFC North. We're talking explosive texts flying, tense office walkouts, and whispers about Shedeur Sanders, and out of nowhere, Joe Flacco. Seriously, did someone press the red button inside Cleveland's front office? The fallout is real, tempers are burning, and somehow, Shedeur Sanders ended up in the center of this mess like the calm eye of a football hurricane. This isn't your typical behind-the-scenes drama. This one's got fire. Andrew Berry, the Cleveland Browns GM, just found himself toe-to-toe with Mike Tomlin, the Steelers coach who usually keeps things cool and classy. But not this time. Something about this whole situation broke the gentleman's code, and Tomlin's patience snapped like a headset on the sidelines. Word is Cleveland crossed a line that everyone in the league knows you just don't touch. And of course, the Browns did it anyway. Classic Cleveland chaos. First, there's Joe Flacco being shipped off mid-season to a division rival. Then that salary cap sheet starts looking like a Halloween horror flick, with numbers so bad they could haunt Barry in his sleep. And right in the middle of this madness, Shedeur Sanders, the golden ticket, the prodigy everyone's whispering about. He's not even in the starting lineup yet, but his name's setting off alarms across the NFL. Cleveland wanted a spark, but what they got was a full-on explosion. And trust me, this story's only heating up. This whole mess feels like the NFL's version of a mid-season reality show meltdown. The kind where everyone forgets the cameras are rolling and decides to throw shade anyway. Mike Tomlin.
In earnest, who's the bigger problem? Is it Andrew Berry or is it Kevin Stefanski with this team?
I think it's Andrew Berry. I think that the talent.
Tell me why.
I think the talent on this team assembled has not been good enough, and that is across all levels. And yes, we have to sit here and say that the 2025 draft that Andrew Berry had looks like a smashing success. It looks like they have a lot of guys that are going to be good players in the NFL for a long time. However, I think a lot of what he has done in years leading up to that has put us in the results that we are in right now. Even if you don't want to put the Deshaun Watson trade, which I think is the worst trade in the history of this sport, if you want to put that on ownership and not on Andrew Berry.
The man known for calm control and quiet authority just snapped, breaking the league's unspoken gentleman's code in broad daylight. Coaches don't call out other executives by name. They don't throw insults in pressers. They definitely don't turn a professional feud into a public roast session. But Tomlin, he lit the match and watched it burn, and the world is still stunned. Usually, the NFL is built on polite shade, passive-aggressive jabs, not full-blown verbal warfare. But when the Browns made another one of their trademark reckless moves, Tomlin decided enough was enough. His words hit like a linebacker, sharp, direct, and cold-blooded. It wasn't just a criticism, it was a public execution, and fans couldn't look away. So what set him off? Simple. Cleveland doing what Cleveland does best, turning football into chaos. The Browns didn't just cross the line, they built a mansion on the other side of it. They've swapped quarterbacks more times than most people change their passwords. Baker Mayfield, gone. Joe Flacco, shipped to a division rival in the middle of a playoff race. It's like they're running a clearance sale on quarterbacks. Everything must go. And don't even start with Deshaun Watson's deal. That contract is so massive, it makes every other team's salary cap cry itself to sleep. While teams like the Steelers run on discipline, structure, and quiet excellence, Cleveland thrives on beautiful disaster. They've turned self-sabotage into an art form, a twisted masterpiece of dysfunction that keeps the headlines buzzing. Even their own analysts are sitting there scratching their heads asking.
He directly called out Andrew Berry. He was asked a question about the Joe Flacco trade, and Kevin Stefanski was asked about that quote.
Yeah, I heard it,
This is what Kevin Stefanski said in response to what Mike Tomlin said. And I quote, I don't have a comment on that. End quote. Tyvis, you weren't here yesterday, so what do you think about Tomlin calling out Andrew Berry? And then 2, Bull, you talked about you want a coach that's going to inspire, light guys up, have a little fire. Yeah. Do you think, knowing how Jimmy Haslam acted and has acted in the past, and who said this?
Wait, are they trying to lose? But let's be real. This isn't about some slow rebuild or grand long-term vision. No, this is the Browns embracing pure, uncut chaos like it's part of their brand. Nah, this wasn't strategy. This was pure Cleveland panic. The kind where the front office starts sweating bullets and throwing future draft picks like confetti at a parade. This was, let's mortgage the next decade desperation. All for the slim, flickering hope that Deshaun Watson suddenly transforms into some miracle worker who can save the franchise from itself. It's chaos wrapped in delusion, and somehow, the Browns keep convincing themselves it's genius. They didn't just fumble the bag, they torched it. The Browns blew up their salary cap, shredded their draft stockpile, and then pulled the ultimate betrayal move, trading Joe Flacco mid-season to a division rival. Who does that? It's like handing your neighbor the keys to your car during a race and hoping they crash. That trade didn't just shake things up, it supercharged the Bengals' playoff dreams, all while Cleveland tried to spin it like some forward-thinking chess move. Mike Tomlin saw that circus act unfold and said, "Enough!" And for a man as measured as him, that meant war.
Mike Tomlin confirmed not an Andrew Berry guy.
Not an Andrew Berry guy. Look, I think it was a subtle shot at Andrew Berry, but let's be real. I don't think it would have been as big of a deal in his mind if they weren't playing the Bengals on a short week, who, by the way, looked pretty solid yesterday with Joe Flacco quarterback against arguably the best team in the NFC. I don't know, Zay. What did you think of those comments?
So shot. That was shots of all shots, hip fire, quick trigger. You better look out and duck below. That's what type of shot that was. But there's a lot of comments going on that, is it part of the head coach fraternity? Maybe trying to side with Kevin Stefanski? I don't know. Either way, I think if Mike Tomlin magically got fired today, he wouldn't even think about taking.
He didn't just throw shade, he broke the NFL's code of silence wide open. On national TV, he named names. Andrew Berry, front and center. That's not a slip-up, that's a statement. When Tomlin broke that unspoken courtesy rule, it felt like a detonation across the AFC North. And the shockwaves are still bouncing through every locker room. But here's where things get wild. While the Browns are out here setting themselves on fire, one man stands untouched in the middle of it all. Shedeur Sanders, cool-headed, laser-focused, and somehow still shining through the smoke. It's almost poetic. The Browns are tripping over their own chaos, and this kid is the calm in their hurricane. The irony's brutal. The same team that blew half a decade of draft picks for Watson is now staring at a once-in-a-generation quarterback talent and asking themselves if they can trust him. Like, really? You already hit the jackpot and you're scared to cash it in? If Cleveland doesn't wake up soon, they might just fumble away the best chance they've had in years.
Honestly, when I seen that, I laughed because it's so funny that everybody always says the same thing about Kevin and AB.
Again, do we really even need a winner this time? Because if you're a Browns fan, you probably just felt that cold shiver down your spine. The kind that comes every time this franchise is about to do something historically dumb again. Let's take a stroll down the timeline of their latest self-destruction, shall we? They traded Joe Flacco midweek to a team in their own division. That's not strategy, that's sabotage with a smile. It's like giving your rival the answer key to the final exam, then flexing about how hard you studied. Unreal. Cleveland's never been one for logic, but this feels different. It's like they're daring the universe to punish them. Some analysts are even whispering that Andrew Berry didn't make the Flacco trade himself, that someone higher up pushed the button while he stood there helpless, watching the car crash in slow motion. Meanwhile, Mike Tomlin sitting across the table playing chess, while the Browns are out here spinning in circles, playing musical chairs in a hurricane. Tomlin didn't call out Berry just to stir drama. He did it because he sees the bigger picture. To him,
they think they're the smartest people in the room. And so clearly he was taking that shot at him, and it was funny just to see that. But I just thought it was kind of funny that Kevin didn't. That's his boy. That's like somebody coming up to me and saying something crazy about G. Bush, and I'm like, you think I ain't gonna say nothing? Like, hey, chill out. What you talking about? Like, it's one of those type things.
Or he is kind of crazy. He be doing too much.
But like, That's crazy. Like this just feeds the narrative of that. Like this is exactly what you.
The Browns aren't just clumsy. They're a genuine threat to the league's competitive balance. And when a man like Tomlin breaks that silence, you know something serious just went down. But here's the real twist. Shedeur Sanders is now stepping into this storm, right as Cleveland teeters between redemption and total implosion. The kid's built different, calm under fire, born for pressure, and the kind of leader who could flip an entire locker room from chaos to command. Yet he's standing at a crossroads, staring at the ugliest question in football. Do I go to Cleveland and try to save this circus, or do I let it burn from a safe distance? For any quarterback, that's a nightmare wrapped in a contract. For Shedeur Sanders, it's the test that could define his entire career. Another day, another explosion in the Cleveland spotlight. Let's break it down, because to really understand why Mike Tomlin's words hit like dynamite, you've got to look at the Browns' track record of chaos. Baker Mayfield, the same dude now looking like an MVP frontrunner, was tossed aside over a minor injury. They didn't just give up on him. They treated him like a used rental car after a weekend road trip. And then, in a move that'll haunt their accountants for years, they handed Deshaun Watson a contract so huge it might need its own zip code. A quarterback who can't stay healthy, can't find rhythm, and definitely hasn't lived up to that elite-level paycheck. And now, sitting quietly in the middle of this circus is Shedeur Sanders. No drama, no ego, just calm focus and pure talent. While Cleveland's spinning in chaos,
a lot of shortcomings in other areas of talent acquisition that have led the Browns to be where they are right now. Why has this offensive line gotten so bad? Are you telling me that because Bill Callahan's not here, the offensive line is this horrific? I'm not saying it needs to be the best, but it shouldn't be this bad. How come you have not been able to find a young receiver that doesn't need to be making a lot of money that's serviceable? I'm not asking for Justin Jefferson. I'm not asking for Jamar Chase. I'm asking for average. And you can't even get that out of the receiver position unless you make a trade for it. And that only lasts so long. And Jerry Jeudy is not even as good as Amari Cooper was when Amari Cooper first got.
He's proving that winning isn't about headlines or hype. It's about poise, consistency, and leadership under pressure. He doesn't crave the noise. He doesn't chase the spotlight. He just works. And that's exactly what Cleveland's been missing for decades. The question is, can the Browns finally see what's right in front of them? Can they actually build around a young star instead of breaking him like they've done to every other quarterback who's walked through that door? Because the 2025 draft isn't just another season reset, it's a once-in-a-generation fork in the road. Draft Shedeur Sanders, invest in his development, surround him with the right people, and Cleveland could finally crawl out of its own Shedeur. But let's be real. History hasn't been kind. This is the same franchise that turns gold into dust faster than any team in the league. One wrong move, one moment of panic, and they'll blow it all again. Live on national TV. And through it all, Mike Tomlin saw the pattern. He knew exactly what was coming. That's why his comments were so sharp, so public, because he's watched Cleveland self-destruct too many times to stay silent. He broke the code for a reason, maybe to warn them, or maybe just to say,
hey, Mike Tomlin, hot. Mike Tomlin looking at Cleveland talking about, and Andrew buried him like, bruh, what y'all doing? Y'all take Joe Flacco, which you made him your starting quarterback, and then you sent him to a team in our division, yours and mine, to a team that need a quarterback. That's all they need is a quarterback. That ain't smart. He must be smarter than me and the team here. Mike Tomlin didn't like that, like, bruh.
Enough is enough. And the reason for all this madness is crystal clear. The Browns didn't just mess up, they actively sabotaged a team that was trying to win the division. This isn't simple incompetence anymore, it's straight up reckless. Imagine helping your rival climb the standings while pretending you're still in the fight. That's Cleveland's whole vibe right now. And even Mike Tomlin, a man known for keeping his cool, wasn't about to let that nonsense slide. He saw it, called it out, and now the whole league's watching the Browns unravel in real time. So where does that leave Shedeur Sanders? Smack in the middle of the biggest front office meltdown the NFL's seen in years. He's standing there calm, sharp, and unbothered, like the only adult in a room full of chaos. The man's built to lead, but right now, he's watching the franchise that needs him most set itself on fire. It's a wild contrast, the future sitting quietly while the present burns to ashes. For Shedeur, this is a crossroads moment. He can either become Cleveland's long-awaited redemption story.
A lot of people was wondering what the hell is going on with the Cleveland Browns. Now, I am about to tell you guys what sources has been saying, what people in the media is saying that is currently going on with the Cleveland Browns, and it's just hell freezing over for them. I don't believe Kevin Stefanski is going to be the coach next year. I believe Andrew Berry's definitely going to be there. I don't believe Kevin Stefanski is going to be coaching the Browns next year. Kevin Stefanski is pretty much throwing up the big middle fingers to the Browns organization and the Browns
or end up as the next generational talent buried by the franchise's endless cycle of bad decisions. And for fans, it's both thrilling and terrifying. A full-blown anxiety attack wrapped in popcorn entertainment. Every move feels like it could be the one that either saves them or seals their fate. And let's be real, this disaster didn't come out of nowhere. It's systemic. It's years of dysfunction packed into a single highlight reel. Baker Mayfield, gone. Deshaun Watson eating up every last dollar of cap space. Joe Flacco traded midseason like a bad stock, and not a single sign of a plan anywhere in sight. Yet right there in the middle of the rubble stands Shedeur Sanders, everything the Browns say they want to be, focused, resilient, and ready to win. He's their perfect reset button, a chance to finally build something real. But the million-dollar question, or should we say $230 million question, is this: can Cleveland handle him, or will they break another star before he even gets a chance to shine? This right here is a masterclass in how not to run an NFL franchise.
It's saying what all the Browns fans are thinking, man. Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry don't know what they're doing, specifically with the quarterback position. It's something I've been telling y'all. Hey, there is no proof that the Browns develop well. There's no proof that the Browns choose well at the quarterback position. Nothing has been said that they do the right thing at the quarterback position. So Mike Tomlin, after beating the Browns for the 22nd consecutive time at home, he went ahead and literally called out.
It's the kind of chaos that makes every other front office grab a notebook and write, "Don't do this," in big red letters. And in the middle of all this madness stands Shedeur Sanders, calm, gifted, ready for the spotlight, and probably thinking, why does Cleveland make football feel like a soap opera? The stakes couldn't be higher. The 2025 draft isn't just another event. It's Cleveland's shot at redemption. Their chance to finally pick a direction, lock in a real franchise quarterback, and prove they can actually build a team that competes instead of combusts. This could be the turning point. The moment where they finally stop rewriting the same sad story and start a new one, if they don't mess it up again. Because let's be honest, Cleveland has made blown opportunity their brand. Every fan watching right now is holding their breath.
Flacco to a team that got wide receivers, running back, O-line, D solid, and you gonna put him in the AFC North. You was just starting him on your squad. Why you gonna give him to them? Trade that joker anywhere, but not to the AFC North. And honestly, get him out the AFC. Put him in the NFC. Mike Tomlin looking at the Browns like, boy, y'all some dumb jokers over there. Like, y'all ain't got them. Y'all ain't got it together over there. He said Andrew Berry.
Praying that history doesn't repeat itself again. The thought of wasting another generational talent is enough to make an entire city lose its mind. And here's the delicious irony. A once-in-a-lifetime quarterback prospect, a kid with all the poise, power, and presence in the world, is standing right there ready to save the franchise. While the franchise itself can't even win a Sunday game without burning something down, everyone sees it. Tomlin sees it, the league sees it, the fans see it, except apparently the Browns themselves. So here's where we stand. Andrew Berry just got roasted in public like never before. Mike Tomlin shattered the league's unwritten code of silence. The Browns' cap space completely nuked. Joe Flacco thriving with a division rival. Deshaun Watson still weighing down the payroll like an anchor in quicksand. And yet, despite all the wreckage, there's still that sliver of hope. The idea that one man, one player could reset everything. That's the beauty and the madness of the NFL. Chaos, ego, and redemption all rolled into one. So the only question left is this: will Cleveland finally learn? Or will the curse continue to write its next chapter? Or are we about to witness yet another classic Browns meltdown? Because every time you think Cleveland's hit rock bottom, they find a way to dig a new tunnel straight through it.
Detected there, but nonetheless, does he have a fair complaint, Steelers fan Stephen A?
Yes, I don't want to say it's unfair. I mean, he's right. He's right with what he's saying, but I'm just like, well, no, I think he's right about what he's saying, but why should the Browns be concerned about where it's all about the assets that you get, what you're looking for. You got Joe Flacco, what can you get for Joe Flacco? You know, say you got somebody desperate enough to give us a couple of picks for him or whatever. What are you going to do? I'm just saying they're not thinking about, you know, the division moving forward next year, the year after, or anything like that. And they know how much they're hurting.
The moment Mike Tomlin called out Andrew Berry, the NFL world lost its mind. Analysts, insiders, ex-players, and every self-proclaimed Twitter quarterback turned into forensic investigators overnight, breaking down the Browns' front office like it was a true crime scene. You'd think someone got caught hiding evidence instead of just making another disastrous trade. Podcasts were dropping emergency episodes left and right. Sports talk radio sounded like group therapy for traumatized fans. Everyone had an opinion, a theory, or a meme to post. And yet, while the noise got louder, the real story slipped right through the cracks. Because beneath all that chaos sits Shedeur Sanders, the one player who could actually change everything. But instead of talking about his talent, everyone's stuck arguing about front office politics, bad contracts, and locker room drama. And while Cleveland's spinning out of control in public,
you know, if the Bengals come and they're so desperate that they're willing to make an offer, it's like, it's no big deal to me.
Their division rivals are having the time of their lives. The Steelers, they're laughing in relief, sipping coffee, knowing Tomlin just exposed their biggest threat without even trying. The Ravens, probably popping champagne behind closed doors, watching their biggest competitor implode on live TV. And the Bengals, they're sitting back, smiling, thanking Cleveland for the early Christmas gift. Because Joe Flacco just landed in their lap like a perfectly tuned rental car ready to hit the track. And through it all, the fans, the poor, loyal, battle-scarred Browns fans, are just hanging on for dear life. They've seen this movie before. They know every twist, every heartbreak, every false dawn. But still, they show up hoping this time will be different. Because that's what Cleveland does best, believe, even when everything around them is burning.
Who is Mike Tomlin? Although he is a division rivals coach, I think he knows what he's talking about. He's a Hall of Fame level coach, has been in the job for as long as he has for a reason, never had a losing season with the Steelers. But I think he's off base here. And the reason I believe he's off base is because when Joe Flacco was sat, he was leading the league in interceptions thrown. And as a quarterback, especially your starting quarterback, being as old as he is, experienced as he is, it just could not be happening. He was making reads that rookies are making and incorrect errors that rookies make. And he's been in the
heartbreak, confusion, and pure chaos. Welcome back to life as a Cleveland Browns fan. From gut punch losses to coaching blunders that defy logic, quarterback trades that look like blindfolded dice rolls in a back alley, this team just can't stay out of its own way. And yet, in the middle of all this madness, Shedeur Sanders shows up, a flicker of hope, glowing through the smoke, that finally a savior feeling hits hard, but it's tangled with that sinking, oh no, not again dread that every Browns fan knows too well. It's emotional whiplash on a level usually reserved for messy reality show finales or awkward family reunions gone wrong. One minute it's, we're back, and the next it's, why did we do that? But here's the bigger picture. Cleveland's window to fix this is getting smaller by the day, and Shedeur knows it. He's standing there, calm and locked in, probably shaking his head at the chaos. But deep down, he's plotting how to turn every ounce of this madness into his moment. That's the real beauty in this mess. He's not running from it, he's preparing to own it. The Browns actually have everything they need to flip their entire story. The draft picks, the star talent, the chance to rebuild from the ashes. But they also carry that heavy curse, the one made of bad timing.
Tomlin, the comment about him, he has every right to do it. I don't think he's wrong with what he's saying because I do think that's an aberration. It's an anomaly. I don't think that's normal. But the fact that it happened is not a big deal.
Yeah, but nobody questioned what the Cleveland Browns were doing. We all praised it and said it made sense. Joe Flacco in 4 games led the league in turnovers. They were done with him. The Cleveland Browns are on a reconnaissance mission to figure out what they got in those young QBs and whether or not those guys can be a part of the solution at that position moving forward. Nobody questioned the logic behind Andrew Berry.
Wild decisions and front office chaos that could blow it all again in a heartbeat. It's the eternal Cleveland dance, competence versus calamity. Andrew Berry's right in the crossfire, trying to hold it together, while Mike Tomlin's probably sitting back smirking, watching the Browns trip over their own playbook like it's entertainment. So for fans, analysts, and even the casual Sunday watchers, all that's left to do is buckle up. Because when it comes to the Browns, there's only one guarantee: unpredictability. And when it comes to Shedeur Sanders, there's another. He'll be ready the moment Cleveland finally decides to make its move, whether it's a masterstroke or another spectacular disaster. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you on the next one.